now. We welcome everybody. We're excited to have you. We hope that you enjoy your stay during the internship, and we expect that if you have any concerns, you also let us know. So next we're going to have Mark. Mark SCN4, that's his full name. So he's going to give us one or two, and going to give us a few tips on how to move from stages to stages. Then next we're going to have Irara. She's going to tell us what to expect as a timer on HNG. Then next we'll have Kingabe. She will put us through how to use the HNG board. So the HNG board is the platform we're going to use for the tax and submission. So Kingabe will do an onboarding for us for that. Then Jeff will also help us, in case anybody doesn't know how to use Slack. Jeff will give us a brief introduction on how to use Slack. Then we have our questions and answer afterwards. So Mark, over to you.
Okay, now, so we have been doing this HNG internship for, is it up to 3 years now? We do it about once or twice a year. So for it to be 7, we're around 3 years. And the purpose of the internship is not really a training program. We have a training program called start.ng, has its own purpose, but with the internship, what we're trying to do is we're trying to find the best people in Africa or any other place around the world who have traditionally not had a chance to really make it, because maybe they didn't have the right direction, they were not in the right community, nobody really showed them how to do this thing. But they are very smart, they are very motivated, and they are able to learn very quickly. So we are basically mostly looking for people that can learn extremely quickly, so that from when they start the internship till when they end the internship, they have shown such a great progress, such a great rate of learning that we know 1-2 years from now, they're gonna be awesome at what they are doing. You know, so we're whether it's front end, back end, design or anything, but we're just looking for people that are extraordinary, but maybe they have not yet been in the right environment to really show how extraordinary they are. So it's not really about people that have a lot of experience. It's more about people that are adaptable, that can look at the things that we throw at them and can solve it very well, can understand how to work well in teams, how to basically work within the system to make sure that they are one of the finalists. It's not a training program, it's not only about what you can deliver, it's also about how well you can work with other people and how you can decode all the challenges that we throw at you. Yeah, that's it from my part.
Thank you very much, Mark. So up next we'll have Irara. She will tell us what to expect during the internship. Irara, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Morton. Good afternoon, everybody. It's actually evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Welcome once again to HNG 7. So like Mark said, he mentioned that what we are looking at, part of what we are looking out for is how open you are to working with other people and learning very fast. So my advice to every newbie in here is that first, like you said, you have to be open. And being open does not mean that you have special people you talk to. You just have to be open to everybody. You have to have listening ears. You have to be able to listen to conversation and be able to decipher what is best, to help you succeed in here. And also, when you get stuck, you need to be able to ask for help. These are tips that helped me, actually. I had to start by mentioning that these are tips that helped me. I was open. I was ready to listen. I'm not somebody who is very easy, on listening, but in the internship for the last cohort that I did, I had to learn to listen a lot. Then also you have to be able to ask for input, and you'll be shocked where you can get solutions to your problem. Some of you might come in thinking, oh, you have the mentors and then you can boss them anytime, they'll be there. I'm sorry to disappoint you, that might not happen, because we have about 70 mentors and over 6,000 interns so far, and we're expecting more. So imagine if we have to answer everybody almost at the same time when the tasks coming in, it's going to be really, really tedious. So the best way you can move around that is ask your colleagues, your fellow interns for help. When you've done something, before you bring it in, you can run it by one or two of your friends in on Slack, or you do private DM, and just get their input before pushing it forward. And most importantly, you have to be available. Announcement channel should be your number one channel, like your go-to channel. Every day you get on Slack, because that is where you will know what is expected of you for that day. If there is an information we passed yesterday and something is missing, or subsequently other interns ask questions, on the announcement channel, you'll be shocked some of the questions that were already answered. And instead of, before you start asking people, you kind of have first-hand information when you make the announcement channel your main priority every day. And then when I say you should be available, like it's like a 24-hour thing, man. No sleeping, no sleeping. Yes, you will sleep, but I'm just, in a way, don't dull on announcement. Just be available and be there to pick whatever is important. Then also very importantly, don't be shy from taking leadership roles. I mean, these are things that will set you apart from others, and it also puts you in the limelight, because these are qualities that employers will be looking out for. And it also helps us to be able to pitch for you when that time comes, because the aim of this internship is such that at the end of this internship, you get recommendation from Mark, from some of the mentors in here. And if we don't see you being able to do certain things, we can't speak on your behalf. So leadership quality is a thing. And when those responsibilities starts to come, just put your best foot in and you'll be shocked. Yeah. There are so many other tips. Yes, one other thing, don't procrastinate. Any task you're giving, don't say, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. Developers are prone to that. And then tomorrow comes, they are running helter-skelter, trying to get things out within the specified time. So please, whatever you get, try to finish your tasks on time. When you finish on time, you get to run through with some of your friends in there, and then be able to help other people on block as well. And that way you also get better. So please try not to procrastinate. Whatever you are giving, try to get it done on time, and you have some breathing space when you get them out on time. Yeah, and that was part of the thing. The things that helped me. So yeah, basically that is it. At the end of it, I assure you'll get jobs. The networks you're able to form in this internship period, you'll be shocked where it will take you. I remember during the last internship where I worked, I needed help with some things, and I because I was active, I had friends, I was paying attention to what was going on Slack. I knew who to call, I knew who to say, oh, what do you think about this? I need your help in this area and all that. And yes, when opportunities came to, when my office needed help or needed recruitment, I could reach out to the mentors like Sheyi to get recommendation, to get other people jobs from my organization. And that happens to many other people in here as well. Some people work in good places because of how they've been able to, contribute and also put themselves out there. Yeah, so basically, try not to procrastinate, be available, ask for input when it's necessary, listen a lot, be open, be an encourager, celebrate people. There are going to be people, times people will win. So you have to be there to celebrate people. Now, there's a particular channel I want to talk about, and it's called Random. Now, don't take that channel for granted. Even in channels, you can talk the walk. If you have issues in that joke, in that play area, you'll be shocked. Tell me that people are in channels, they're having fun, and you are there, you're unable to crack a particular code. You can just ask them in there. You'll be shocked how many amazing people are in Random, and you think, oh, this one's, no. Don't look at Random that way. Either way, have fun while you're at it, and the sky will be your limit. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Irarat. So everything she has said, I will advise everyone to actually follow her advice, because she has told you the major things that you need to actually excel in the internship. So right now, I will move over to King Abesh, who will show us around the HNG board. King Abesh, over to you.
Good evening, guys. I'm so happy to be on the call with you. So I'll be taking you through the HNG board, which is where you receive the most important information apart from the announcement channel. That's where you have to make submission of your task. You have to watch out for posts. You can update your profile and just stay in touch with things all through the workspace. So I'll be sharing my screen briefly. Basically, the board is used in managing the internship. In how do I mean? The board is used for promoting and demoting interns. You can also be sent to probation, also known as isolation center, right away, if you don't stick to rules. So the board also shows your progress. It shows what stage you are at. It also shows the tracks you belong to. Okay, so it's a way of keeping you up to date with the recent happenings. If you have critical announcements that we don't need to be cleared on Slack, because after 10,000 messages are always cleared on Slack. You can post them on the board, and we are always sure that whenever you log into your board, you can see those announcements. You can also see tasks. As you release the task, you can see the task on your board. So basically, the board just keeps you up to date, and I would advise every intern to please hold it close. Always check your board as much as you check your Slack. Most times you might just release tasks, and though whenever we release tasks, we always try to inform you on time that tasks have been released, but you just go to check your board, check the track you're on, know what track you're supposed to do. Are you a front-end developer? It will show on your board. I'm going to take you around the board right away, so you know how to check for all those stuff. You can also see, yes, your level. There are currently 10 levels on the board. You'll see your level at every point. Once you are promoted, you'll be promoted on Slack, and that is done through the board as well. And it will also reflect on your board. So if there's any instance where maybe you're added to a channel on Slack, let's say you are moved from stage 2 to stage 3, and your board still reflects stage 2, then it's an inconsistency, it's a problem. You need to reach out to either of the mentors to have that corrected. So I believe with that, I can just proceed to showing you how you need to sign up on the board. So this is the login page. Yeah, this is the first page you see once you access this URL. That's board.hng.tech. You can decide to reset your password. You signed up already. Hello. Okay, yeah. So that's the sign up screen. You can go back if you're signed in. You can decide to reset your password. You can also go to login screen. So now we're going to sign up briefly. I'm going to sign up with my details now. Yeah, then over here you can select any track of your choice. You have the back end, you have design, you have mobile, you have front end. I'm going to choose mobile. You can only select a track at this moment. So I'm going to choose mobile, and then I'm going to input a password. Also make sure that your password matches your confirmed password. Then you input your Slack name. Yeah, mine is King Abesh. One thing you should notice is that the email you provide here has to be on Slack. If you try to provide an email that's not on Slack, you will not be successfully registered. So then you can choose your gender and then your location. So I'm going to do this briefly, and then I'm going to register. So once I register, it redirects me back. It showed me a message that I've registered, then redirected me back to the login page. So now I need to log in. I'm just going to briefly log in. Okay. So I'm logged in. Once you log in, you saw the message, the welcome message. You can see my stage. I'm on stage 1 out of 10 stages. You can see my track. I have one track. I have just one track, sorry. So there are no tasks and there are no posts yet. So basically, once you start receiving tasks and posts, you see your 5 latest tasks on the left side here. That's here. And you can see the 5 latest posts here. So you can decide to view more. Once you view more, it takes you to this page. This is the side menu. You can navigate here. So you can come to the task and you can view your different tasks. You can come to posts. You can view your different posts, but there are no posts available yet since the internship is just starting out. Then you have your HNG ID. This is your ID. So mine is 25 now, but as you join, you also see your ID. Then you can come to user profile. User profile is also important because this is where you see your track. Yep. So if I scroll down, you see my track. I'm on the mobile track. That's the track I just chose. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So once you come here, you can see your tracks. I'm on the mobile track. That's the track I chose when I registered. All right. Okay, then you can see your details. You can decide to update them as you please. So you see my name, my username King Abesh. You see my email. You see my first name and last name and my location and about me. So you can also change your into many images available now. But I can change it once I click here. Let's say for example, let me just click here and choose a random image. You can see. So I'm just gonna choose this something random. So it's going to be uploaded here in a short while. Yep. Anyway, let's move on. I feel my network is not so strong. Something went wrong. I think that has to do with my network. It's not so stable right away. So yes, so that's basically it. So here you have your email, you have your internship ID. In case you are asked, for some reason you might decide to reach out to either myself or Jude, and we might always have to ask you for internship ID so we can treat your issues. This will make our work faster, or most likely your email address. So basically, how the board works is once you come in, you view your current stage, so you are aware of what stage you are at every moment. Okay, then you CV your track. You notice that you belong to more than one track or two tracks. Okay, you can come here and confirm what tracks are actually listed on your profile. So that's about it about the board. But if you have any questions, you can just direct it to me on Slack and I would be willing to answer them. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, King Abesh. So I think it's actually important for all of us to note that it's the same email address you use to register on Slack that you use to register on the HNG board, just to avoid some of the issues that you mentioned earlier. So right now we'll move on to Jeff, who will show us around Slack. Jeff, over to you.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Well,
Jeff.
Jeff.
Hi.
So I'm Jeffrey Ogg. I'm also a mentor on HNG, and Slack is our main communication tool. So I'll be showing you around Slack. I'll share my screen now so you can follow. Okay, great. So I'll start from the channels. So first, channels are basically you can think of them as groups, organized groups for messages. We have private and public channels. And public channels are channels that have this hash sign in front of them. So if a channel is public, it means anybody can join the channel, right? You don't need to be invited. It's visible. So you would normally see public channels when you browse channels here, right? So, and then we have private channels. These are the channels that have this padlock sign in front of them. So private channels can only be joined by invitation. Someone in the channel has to invite you to that channel, right? So the first channel I'm going to talk about is the announcements channel, which is probably the most important channel in this internship. And this is where we post announcements, basically important information that you need to know. Most of you have probably seen some of the messages Mark has posted on the channel. So it's something we'll be using frequently. And basically any important information, you can expect to see it on the announcement channel. We also have a discussion channel, which is for general discussions about the internship. So it's free for anybody to talk about there. Anything related to the internship, it could be like maybe trying to clarify some information or just trying to get ideas. This can go on the discussion channels. Both of these channels are public, by the way. Next, there's the Express channel, and well, this is not a channel you want to be in. We'll we'll talk about that more eventually as the internship goes on. But if you're still in this channel at this point, you probably want to leave. It's
Yeah.
not it's public, but it's not a good channel, so don't be here. And then we have help. So like the name says, it's a help channel. If you have something a bit more specific you need help with, you can ask on this channel, and anybody that's available can answer. It doesn't have to be a mentor. It could be a fellow intern or a mentor, but anybody available would answer. We also have an isolation center channel. You probably can't see this because it's private, it's locked, and you definitely do not want to be here. Just hope that for your stay in the internship, you don't get in this channel because that's another very bad channel. And then we have a mentors only channel, and this channel is just for mentors to post information. So on the announcement channels, we basically put important info. But on this mentors channel, it's more like it could be nuggets or just anything a mentor wants to pass that they feel could be helpful to you, right? That goes on this channel. So this is for mentors only. I can see a lot of people are actually still posting on the channel. Um, yeah, you should probably stop that. Just avoid posting on this channel. I'll talk about threads later, and you can use threads to reply to messages. And then we have random. Random is like the fun place. So you have all the other serious channels where everything is focused on a particular thing, and you can't do this and you can't do that. But on random, anything goes. So you can hang out with other interns, mentors, make jokes, um, do whatever really. And then there's a resources channel. This is basically to share well, resources. This could be like links to something helpful, or videos, or basically anything that you feel could be helpful to someone in a particular track. We also have stage channels, which you also can see. They're private. And I'll use this opportunity to talk about the fact that we have 10 stages in this internship. So you basically progress from stage to stage. So as you submit your tasks on the board, like Abesh talked about, you'll get promoted to a particular stage. And when you get promoted to the particular stage, you would then be added to these stage channels. So this is entirely automatic. So you don't need to like message anybody to add you here. If you've done the right thing, you definitely get added to the stages. And yeah, that's basically it. So now talk about messages, right? Um, the messages that appear on the channel, for example, this message by Mark, um, well, they're just messages, right? Anybody can, depending on the channel, some channels have restricted access. Like on announcements, interns can't post directly on the channel, right? But for other channels that don't have like restricted access, anybody can post on the channel. Now, later on in the internship, we'll start emphasizing on the use of threads. And that's because if we allow everybody, I mean, currently we have about 6,000, almost 7,000 members on this workspace, right? So if we allow everybody to post like one message on the channel, I mean, that's 6,700 messages at once. And it's very easy to lose track of important information. So one way we manage this is using threads, and threads are basically replies to a particular message on the channel. So you can see this message from Mark with the Zoom link, and then you can see a couple of replies under this, right? So all these replies are kind of like messages focused on this particular message. So you can start a thread. Normally, when you hover over a message, it shows some options here. And this second option is the reply to thread. So for example, on this post that has no replies yet, if I click this, it allows me to start a thread, and then I can type whatever reply I want here. And then anybody else that wants to can also use the same method, or they can just click directly on these replies. And then it shows them all the replies to that thread, and they can continue making those replies. Another thing to note is that there's a button here at the bottom that says also send to announcements. So if you tick this button, it's actually going to also post, I'm just going to use this as a test, is also going to post your message to the channel, which is, it kind of defeats the purpose of threads in the first place. So whenever you're replying to a channel, to a message, sorry, you want to be sure that that option to also send to the channel is not ticked, because I mean, it kind of counts as sending a message to the channel, right? So we have reactions as well. You can react to a post. There's sometimes we might tell you to react to a post, not reply or do anything. And reactions are basically these things, like emojis you're seeing here. So when you hover over a post, the first option is to add a reaction, and then you can add whatever you want, right? You can react to the post, and then you can keep adding, and then people that come afterwards can just click on that as well to add their own reaction. So that's how this happens. So this is also important because sometimes we might tell you to do like some kind of voting or something, or like indicate if you're online right now. So when we say indicate if you're online right now, we don't mean you should start posting on the thread, I'm online, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, and then like 5,000 people post I'm here, and then nobody gets to see the original message. We just need you to do something like this, just like tick, and then we know that okay, you're here, right? We also have pinned messages. So pinned messages are because like I said, messages can get like, as we post messages on the channel, the other ones keep going up, and then you can lose track of some messages. So there's an option here when you go to more actions. There's an option to pin to channel, right? Sometimes we'll do this for you, but sometimes you might feel something is important to pin. Doesn't mean you should abuse this, but if maybe you see like some information that might be important, right, and you feel it should be pinned, you can use this, but don't abuse this feature, please. So yeah, you can pin to channel, and when you pin, it has this sort of orange overlay, right? And then you can view all the pinned channels in all the pinned messages, sorry, by going to details and pinned items, right? So it shows you all the pinned messages, and this is like a neat way of seeing basically important stuff, because the only things that will be pinned are like really important stuff. And then from there you can click on view message to go to the actual message that was pinned, like this, right? So you can click on those to go to the actual message that was pinned. You also have the option to unpin as well. So you probably don't want to unpin these messages, but in case you pin something by mistake and it wasn't supposed to be pinned, yeah, you can unpin that message using this. Um, I'm trying to see if I missed something, but I think those are basically the important things. Um, just get used to the concept of replying in threads. Most times, your discussions or your messages will be in threads. We don't like to clutter the main channel, so there will be like one message here on the main channel, and then everybody is replying to the thread, and it's so much more organized because you know that okay, you can read all the replies and you can keep going, right? If you're on an updated Slack, you also have some neat shortcuts here to check your mentions and check threads that you've replied to. For example, if you click this, it will show the different threads that you have replied to. And then you can just keep scrolling to see if there's any new message on those threads that you replied to. And yeah, so always check announcements channel. Usually when an announcement is posted, you would see an at channel would be used. This is used for like notifying everybody in the channel, right? So everybody in that particular channel will get a notification. So there's also at here, you can't use this actually, but there are ways these are just ways we use to like get your attention, right? But even without this, you should check announcements as often as possible. You should get used to the fact that you reply to messages using threads, and you should also get used to the fact that sometimes a message just needs a reaction, it doesn't need a reply. So most messages like, are you online right now, or indicates if you want this option, do you want this or do you want that, just use a reaction to reply to that. um yeah, so I think that's more or less it. If you have some questions on Slack later on, I can always answer them, or any mentor can answer them. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about status, right? Your icon. So you might have noticed that some people have this blue verified tick, and basically this is a reserved icon, so don't use this. This icon is for mentors only. um, it's just a way for you to easily identify that this person is a mentor. So if you see someone with this particular icon, you know that this person is a mentor, and you can probably reach out to them for help. Doesn't mean you should always reach out to them for trivial things, but at least you know this is a mentor. And as we go on, as you progress in stages, we use icons to differentiate stages, right? So you can change your icon by coming here, and then when you click this, you can hover over this place. It shows you this pencil edit button, and then you can choose an icon you want. So most times for stage one, we use this, right? So when you choose an icon, be sure to also set the option for clear. Most times the default option is to clear after a day. So when that day ends, it actually clears your icon. So you want to make sure that you check this don't clear, and that means it's always going to be there until you change it. So when you do this, this is our way of identifying that like, okay, let me go to a message I posted. So you can see now that my name has a one beside it. And then for us mentors and well other interns, when we see this, we know that this is someone in stage one, right? And when you get to stage two, most times the first thing we'll do is to tell you to update your icon, because it's really important for us to be able to differentiate who is in what stage. So this is two, and when I update that, now it shows two, right? So as you go on, you see people with different numbers, but basically the number just indicates the current stage they are in, right? And you definitely don't want to be using this icon if you are not in that stage. So if you're not in stage two and you're using this stage two icon and we find out, well, you might find out what the express channel is used for then. Yeah, so I'll just change mine back. Okay, I can do that later. But yeah, so talked about the icons, I've talked about threads, I've talked about messages, pinned items, reactions, and yeah, I think that's basically it. So Mutun, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Jeff. I hope everybody has been able to learn a lot from that. At least we are able to navigate through Slack now. So we won't have any complaints of they didn't know what to do with this. So now you know that the most important channel for you is the announcements channel. So always make use of the announcement channel.
Hello,
Yeah, we can
everyone.
hear
My
you.
name is Sheyi. Thank you, Mutun, for all you have done. So I want to welcome you again to the internship. They've said a lot. There's not much for me to say. But I'd like to answer one question that is very recurrent. It's the question of payment. So people have been asking if the internship is a paid internship. The answer is no. You do not get paid every week. You don't get paid every month. But we reward people that deliver on task. So don't expect to receive alerts every week or every month. It's a very strange question to an extent because it's a free internship. You're not working for us to an extent. You are basically just learning for yourself. So we don't really pay you every week or every month, but we reward those who are able to deliver on task as much as we can afford to. So that's just to answer that question, and to also say, please just respect each other, respect yourself, respect the mentors. They are there to help you. They are not working for you. They are just here to help you. They are volunteers, and we are not paying them. But you're welcome to HNG internship, and I'm happy to have you here.
Okay. All right, great. So let me take over the question and answer part because I'm the one with the control here on the mouse. Now we are opening up the floor for questions. I will receive the questions. We'll get some questions here on Zoom, some other questions on YouTube Live, and then I'll just navigate the questions to each of the mentors so that everybody can answer something. If you have a question and you're on Zoom, raise your hand and I'll unmute you and you can ask your question. If you have a question on YouTube Live, then just type it down. It's here on my desk and I'll read it out and somebody will answer it. So let's start off with Zoom. We have Harry Wonder here. I'm going to unmute you and then you can ask your question. Okay, Harry Wonder, you are.
Hello, good evening.
Hi.
Good evening. Hi, evening. I'd like to ask a question, please.
Sure, that's why you are muted.
Okay, so the thing is, you mentioned you mentioned that the payment part, that we don't get paid weekly, we don't get paid monthly, we get paid when we do some task. You mentioned that earlier. So the thing there now is, for those tasks, do we begin them from like stage 1, 2, 3, and on like that?
So Sheyi, I'll unmute you since that was your. So Harry, regarding payment, we have a budget that is designed for interns to receive money. We have some money that is available and we're going to disburse all the money to the interns. However, the money is not enough for every single intern to receive a significant part of it. So the way we do it is that particular teams, when they achieve particular things or particular people, then we will pay them. We tend not to do this in the very early stages because the crowd is too much, but there will be some kind of reward that will be announced every now and then. In later stages, when we are working on projects or we are doing competitions, then there'll be more reward. So for this very early stages, don't really expect much, but it's going to come as we proceed quickly. Okay, so next up, Kingsley Dollar. I've unmuted you.
Okay, good day.
Hi.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, my question is in terms of the tracks, how many tracks can one be involved with? Like front end, UI, US, back end? How many can one be involved in at a time?
Okay, so maybe Jeffrey, would you like to take that?
Okay, yeah, I can take that. So we don't actually have like a restriction on the tracks you can be involved in. However, the internship is quite intense, even for those in one particular track. So if you try to do multiple tracks, you might find yourself struggling a bit to keep up in all of them, and then you could end up like losing on all fronts. So it's a good idea to just focus on a particular track and just know that you're diverting all your attention to that. But we don't have restrictions on like the tracks you can join.
Okay, sorry, I want to ask this question again. Maybe it might have been answered before. For how long will it actually run through?
So I answered this in the other video. It's gonna be give and take 8 weeks. It could be 6, it could be 10, it could be 12. We are going to judge it by ear, but the average is around 8 weeks.
All right then, thank you.
And I'll point out that for the people doing the UI UX track, if you that we are doing judgment very quickly in the first week, so you can attempt it. If you don't make it in the first week, you can switch to another track. There's no penalty for doing that, and we try and give people very early feedback because the UI UX track is the one track that it's not just enough to work hard. There's also some type of talent that you need, and you may not be able to make it. So you just try. If it doesn't work out, you switch track very early.
Okay, lastly, in terms of notification, how often will one get notifications in regards to maybe when you're supposed to do a particular thing and thereabout?
Irara, you want to take that?
Okay. I mentioned earlier that you have to make an announcement to your friend because, like I said, there might be an announcement for a task right now, and then before 9 p.m., people are asking questions, and there will be need to update that task or that information, and that update happens like, okay, you got your task brief around 5 p.m. There's an update to it by 9 p.m. or the following morning. So, I mean, getting notification is like you just being on your Slack 247 because that's the only means we get to tell you what's going on and you'll be able to, get on board. Get on your task immediately. So that you get private notification. Yeah, maybe when, I think there's a way you set a particular channel or so that some information get to your mailbox. But my brother, the best thing is stay on your Slack 247 almost. Stay on your Slack. But there are timelines. It's not like I see things will just be happening without control. No. There are timelines. I'm just concerned about updates that are meant to guide you that you might miss if you are not online. Yeah. So.
All right.
That answers.
Thank you very much, Kingsley. Muted you now. Before we proceed, are there any other mentors that would like to also be unmuted now to take some questions? Because there's a whole lot of questions.
Yeah, Office wants to be unmuted. Okay. Muted.
If there's anybody else, maybe just raise your hand as a mentor. I don't know if I'll know all the names. So
Prismatic too, and IDM calculus.
Sorry, say that again.
Just
Prismatic, and IDM calculus.
Okay, prismatic and IDM calculus. Okay. Anybody else?
Paul. I saw Paul.
Professor.
Oh, wow, there are a
Paul
lot of hands.
Rapulu. Yeah, Paul Rapulu.
Okay.
All right, I think that's everyone.
All right, great. So I'll move on to the next question. Let's take a look from Google. I'll just have to start from the beginning. I work a 9-to-5 job. I'd like to know how much time is required daily for this internship. Who can take that? Motun, can you take that?
Yes. Okay. So during my internship, also I was working a 9-to-5 job. So for me to have been able to excel, I dedicated at least 4 hours per day. And now this 4 hours is not like a 4 hours straight thing. It's like an interval thing. So in the morning, so that I don't miss anything important. In the morning, I come online, check for a few minutes. I go up, do my work in the office. Then sometime in the afternoon, around 2 or 3, I dedicate a few minutes. Then for the task itself, I dedicate at least 2 hours per day to it, just to be sure that yes, I'm up to date with information and stuff like that. So at least like 4 hours per day, it should be good. It might require less, but on the average, 4 hours just to be sure and to be on the safe side.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll unmute
Mark,
George Uwe.
Mark, just a reminder, the video feed is not syncing, it's not live, there's a delay. So answering the questions from the YouTube chat itself is actually faster than what is actually shown on the video feed on YouTube.
Yeah, we are aware of that.
Yeah, it's fine. So I think.
Yeah, it's fine. It still gets to them anyway.
Okay, so George Uwe, you had a question.
Okay, yes, for the front end track, what tech stack are you going to use for your task? Are you going to be using React, Angular, or is it, do we pick, how is it?
Okay, I think Jeffrey, you should know that, or Professor.
Professor.
Well, for the tech stack, we actually don't support using framework because it's going to affect others in your team. Let's say when you're doing a team project, some people in your team will actually know React, and some will know Vue, and others will know Angular. But you can, as a team, you can just say, let's use React, which is going to affect others. So we always have this rule of no framework, just doing it without framework.
Okay, so that's just pure HTML, JavaScript, and CSS.
And for CSS, you can use Bootstrap to make things faster. But for React and Vue, we don't support framework.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, thanks. Yeah. So I'll take a question now. Next up, Elapa Gabriel, I'm unmuting you.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Good evening.
I don't know. So I kind of joined late. Sincerely, I don't really know what this internship is all about. I'm sorry to say, somehow I joined out of curiosity to find out more about it. And somehow I joined a bit late today. I don't know if it's possible I get some information about the internship and all that. I don't know if that's possible.
Okay, so let me give you a brief overview. For those of you, because some of you are watching this and I'm sure you are quite confused as to what's happening because you lack context for the whole internship. We have two programs. We have Start.ng. It's a simple training program for people with no knowledge about coding, design, or technical skill. As a follow-up to Start.ng, we have this program called the HNG Internship. So it's a program that simulates you actually working on real-life projects. This is the assumption that you are a junior or that you are very, very early in your programming career or design career, and that you are looking for a over the course of some weeks, you can quickly upskill yourself. You can challenge yourself. You can learn new things. So we provide you with a whole bunch of different tasks where you can actually learn a lot and become much better. At the end of it, our model also is that we eliminate people from the program weekly so that at the end of it, those who are the very best are what are now going to remain. We take those people and we try and place them or put them in different places where they can continue to work, either as interns or for some junior devs, designers, whatever. We try and make sure that everybody is somewhere good. That's the short of the program. Where basically we're just trying to make it possible that people can upskill themselves when they have done some basic training in software development or design.
Okay, so it doesn't matter your career or profession in real life. You can actually do it as long as you're smart or as long as you have the heads for it. You can actually do it. It doesn't matter what you studied or what you're doing currently, right?
That all of that does not matter. So the idea, we don't have any entrance exam. We don't have any restriction on anybody. We want to find very smart people who can learn very quickly and can upskill themselves. Several people have completed this internship with zero knowledge, zero prior knowledge, and people that had a lot of experience failed it also. Because what we really want to see is the rate at which you are learning. Nobody gets ejected for any technical reasons. You only get ejected if you do not the task. But we feel that every task that we give, it's a challenge, but it's doable.
The tasks, are they like real life questions, or are they like mathematical coding or mathematical modeling or something?
No mathematical modeling. We just ask you things like code something or design something. It's not an academic matter. It's not like school. This is just like we're working on real life stuff. That's all. All right. Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir.
All right. So let me take this. There's so many questions on YouTube that there's no way we can handle them all. So I'll just randomly scroll, and if I see a question, I'll just pick it. So for the mobile stack, will there be Flutter? Someone is asking. Well, let me just hazard a guess and say that yes, there will be Flutter, although I don't really know the details. And I don't think anybody from the mobile track is here, or is there? Paul is Paul.
I'm not from the mobile track, but yeah, Flutter.
Paul?
Yes, I think there's probably going to be Flutter. It's Java that we think that will not be available, but there's going to be Flutter.
All right. Okay. Great. Let's look. So Mimi.
Okay. Orpheus says there's Flutter and they might do native. He's muted again.
All right. Let me unmute that. So obviously, you're saying that they would be Flutter.
Yeah, for the mobile track, the major will be focusing more on Flutter. But then there might be situations where native Android code might come in, and then that of Xcode as well for iOS. That's Swift.
All right, great. So next up, I'll call Mimi Fitz to ask a question. Mimi Fitz.
Hi. I just want to know if the projects will be done individually or will be divided into groups, like into teams.
Okay. Who can take that?
Okay, I think I can take that.
Okay.
For the project, at the start, at the beginning, we give a general task for everybody to go and do. Okay, so along the way, we start asking for people to group themselves. Like you find a group and join a group, then you can now be given a group project. But for now, you'll be doing an individual task.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right. So in later, it becomes all team tasks. Later, but right now, it's completely individual.
Individual. Okay. All right.
All right. Next up, I'll call Good News Sandy to ask something.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the platform.
Good
Okay,
evening,
my
sir.
question is, I noticed that the delete button is inactive. What happened to the delete button? If I text something, I can't delete it. I don't know what happened.
You mean on Slack?
On
On
Slack?
Slack, yes, yes, on Slack. I can't delete things. I can only edit, but once I've posted, I can't delete what I posted.
That's weird. It should, since we've been able to delete
Um,
over here.
so actually, currently the
I
delete
don't.
Interns can
button is
delete.
actually inactive for intents. So
Oh, wow.
yeah,
I think they can only edit and remove the text, whatever
you
they
can
edit.
edit and remove the text that you typed, but you can't delete because, well, sometimes there might be some strict instructions to not like post on the channel, and well, then maybe you do. It's not like you might exactly get evicted for doing that, but like you might get into express.
Okay, so you can just change it to a full stop or something like that. Change the text.
Yeah, just edit it.
All
Yeah,
right,
just
great.
Okay, thank you. That will be all.
All right.
All right.
So I'll call Gladys now to ask a question.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Gladys.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right.
So I was wondering, do we have classes with mentors, or it's strictly you do a challenge thing? Do we actually have classes where we learn something and then we perform a task on what we learned?
You will not have classes in this program. This program is not designed that way. We have classes in start.ng, but here, this
Okay.
is not a training program like that. You will get challenges, you'll get projects to do. You'll be put in teams where your teammates can teach you, and the mentors may assist or will assist a little bit, but this is not going to be like structured classes. It's supposed to replicate how it would be in a work environment. So not saying that the beginners will not be able to make it. They will make it because there's a lot of material online to study, but we will not be teaching anything.
Okay. So how soon do we start? How soon do we start our class, our tasks?
I think the tasks are going to drop today. So it starts, yeah, we have practically started. This is the first thing. And then the first task that has to be completed will be announced today, and the deadline will be set for a few days from now.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks. So next.
okay. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Hi.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to ask, what back end development tool are we learning? Are we to choose, or we'll be told to learn one? I don't know if you get, because I would personally prefer Python programming. So I don't know if Python is what I would choose, or the mentors will just give us any of the tools to learn.
Can someone take that?
Okay, read one. This is how it
Yes.
works. You start with basic tasks. Everyone starts with basic tasks. And then as you proceed, you would be divided into your tracks, obviously. And based on, usually how we work is based on the availability. We are suggesting Django, for example, Python. It's based on the number of people who have that skill and would like to, use it in that sense. That was one of the reasons why we used Node.js in the last iteration. So it's really based on the number of people we get in the backend track who have the skill, particularly as touching Django. But have your mind focused now that we are going to be using mainly PHP and Node.js. Then if Django comes along as useful, then you can join a team that uses that.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
All right.
Okay, Mark. So
Yeah?
Emmanuel Ebo has been
Okay.
raising his hand
Get
physically
that.
in the Yo, I think he does not raise his hand in the chat, so I think we should unmute him so he can ask his question.
Who is
So I've
that?
been doing Emmanuel Ebro.
Okay.
So Emmanuel, I think you're on mute now.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Please, I want to ask if by chance I need to define now. Like, for example, I'm currently a final year student, which I'll be finishing early May, but with this corona situation, so like, imagine a job is offered to me. Can I work remotely or something? Or can I just defer the job till, I don't know.
So you're asking if at the end of HNG you are offered a job, right? We do not place students into work. We don't do any job placement for people in that particular circumstance because it's very difficult. It generally doesn't work out well. And we don't want to deliver to the employers somebody that will disappoint them. So there's nothing stopping you from going out to search for your own job or something, but we will not place people that are in that situation. Because we feel immediately you are done with school, we find jobs, we work to help you find a job. But while you are in school, then you're actually, for us, our perspective, supposed to continue working in school.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
All right. I think that, I'll just give a quick overview, kind of what is coming next. We are going to drop the task to enter stage 1. And as soon as you enter stage 1, the task 2 is going to be available to you. The task to enter stage 1 is relatively easy. Then the task to enter stage 2 is a little bit harder, but you are going to need to do it in teams. We'll split up into 10 teams. You can join any of the teams that you want, and you have to deliver that task together with your team. There's a part that is individual and a part that is teamwork. So please go look in the announcements channel. Within the next 1 hour, everything will be explained there. All right. Thank you very much for attending our webinar. Is it webinar or Zoominar? Whatever. Yeah, that's it from me. Any final words, Irara?
Yes. Thank you everyone for joining us. Those of you on YouTube, it's important to subscribe because we'll be sharing some videos, some resources. I mean, key informations too will be shared on YouTube. So please subscribe so you don't miss anything. Yeah, and thank you. You are gonna experience a lot of pressure, but you overcome. You enjoy it, honestly. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Nice to meet you. Good luck to everyone.